Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed and the After Hours update for Thursday, October 2nd. And so in this stream, it's going to be about half an hour. We're going to go over some tickers that are on my list, and then I will open the chat up to take any requests the last 15 minutes or so of the stream. And yeah, if you are watching this after the fact, let me know in the comments if you do enjoy these kind of videos where I just kind of do a quick little run through of some of the tickers that do stand out to me. And one of those that I'm really excited to go over today is ticker symbol USAR. I went over it yesterday and we got this really nice move today. And so that is where the title for the stream comes from, that I nailed it on that. So feeling really good about that. Although with every trade, there are some mistakes. And so I think there's also some aspects to better improve for the next time. So I did want to go over that as well. Also wanted to go over Peloton, ticker symbol PTON, Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. Also wanted to go over some crypto, going over Bitcoin as well as IBIT, which is the BlackRock iShares ETF, and Ethereum. I'd also like to go over SBET, but I think that's just going to be too much for the stream. So I'm not going to be going over any of the treasury companies, but then I did also want to go over AMC because we got something pretty exciting at the very end of the day. I wanted to go over with you guys, but actually I was interested in going over either GameStop or Unity Software, but because of that move on AMC, I decided I needed to take priority of that. But yeah, if there are requests, let me know in the chat. If you are joining live, let me know so I can say hi. But yeah, it doesn't look like anybody is here with me right now, or actually maybe there are 5 people I see. But yeah, so let me know in the chat if you are here. I will say hi back. But yeah, I am just going to go down this list. I'm probably not going to dive into the options data just because that gets a little bit clunky. But so here with USAR, I'm just going to pull up the drawings from yesterday. I had this Fibonacci retracement up there, and I kind of drew this one yesterday. I did previously have it up, but I was talking about it breaking out like this. I believe I drew this trend line there yesterday. But, you know, of course, there's a mistake with this, and that mistake is that I didn't establish a position. And this actually, was following up on, I believe, the Bronx Viking posting about Lithium Americas, ticker symbol LAC, and I responded to him saying, I had previously swung it, but I missed out on the big move. But then I realized I hadn't actually swung LAC at that time. What I had swung was USAR because I recognized that, the momentum, whether it's in AI, batteries, all that stuff, I was kind of missing what was moving. And then I realized, rare earth elements might be going next. So I had previously swung this, and I had made a video about it when it was breaking out over here. And there's a link to that video in the description of this stream, so you can check that out if you like. But yeah, it had this nice move up here, pulled back to the 50-day SMA. And then yesterday, I drew this Fibonacci retracement, and I had a limit order placed here at 1622 because I was hoping that might get filled. And it nearly would have had I had the order placed on Tuesday, September 30th, where the low was $16.30. So just 8 cents above 1622, but I didn't have that. And what I should have recognized yesterday was, it nearly tested that level here. We are putting in higher lows. I shouldn't be so greedy wanting to get that perfect fill. I should just buy some and see if it breaks out. And so yesterday we did have an upside move on October 1st, going up about 7.10% on the day, which is about $1.22, closing at 1841. And then we got a very little gap up. So yesterday closed at 1841. Today we opened at 1851 with the low being 1850s. There is still a little gap there, but then moved up 23.36%. I had first noticed this when it crossed 20 bucks, right around where the cursor is here. I think maybe I had an alert there, something like that. But it's just like, whoa, that's great. I recognize that I should have been looking at this earlier because I thought I was referring to LAC. I was actually referring to this. I could have gotten a position in this, but I talked about this happening. I drew this level up here, the 100% extension. I drew this up yesterday during the stream at 2133. Buying at open today and swinging up to that level, that would have been a nice quick trade. But I think this is probably going to go higher. I do have the 1618 there right around 25 bucks. It looks like it's at 24.90, but that's not necessarily to the penny, so take it with a grain of salt. But one thing that I think is good to recognize with this, just because it's broken out from this trend line, doesn't mean, it's just going to go up forever and we need to chase it if we want to be in it. I think there actually could be a retest of this trend line. So right around 19 bucks, I think this could be pulling back to that. And on that note, so I don't forget, I'm just going to pull it up in my phone. That is where I do orders. And so I'm just going to place an alert. Let's see, for below. And then I'm going to do $19. Just so, if it does pull back for a retest, I'd be aware, and then maybe that will be the time to establish a position. But things that really do stand out about this, if we're looking at the volume, I had talked about this in the video before when it was breaking out here, that volume was coming down as price was consolidating. And then on this move, we have a breakout in the volume. And then since then, the breakouts or the peaks in volume have progressively been getting higher. And now we see this massive surge in volume, 23.05 million shares traded today, whereas over here on August 12th, it was about 18.07 million. So very cool. Wanted to share that with you guys. And I do see some stuff in the chat. So Taylor, hey, what's up? And York, how's it going? Yeah, Rocket Lab. I'll cover that in a second. Just want to go over Peloton real quick. We're here. Haha, scared to comment. Hey, Daniel, what's up? And let's see, Nick is saying, bro, AMC. Yep, I will cover that in the end. I'm pretty excited about that because it's not just the move, it's the close. I think something significant happened with AMC, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'm just going to continue on down the list. I don't have too much to say about all of these tickers. Really, Peloton, this is one where I believe in a stream I had talked about potentially opening up a call, I believe a $12 strike for the November 21st expiration, somewhere around there. I initially bought a contract at 33 cents. Then I bought another one at 22 cents yesterday. I believe I mentioned that yesterday during the stream. And I think I also mentioned, well, if I sold at 33 cents, that's 20% profit. And so I actually did sell those calls, made about $10, something like that. So nothing crazy, but it's about being happy with the percentage swings. And if I have more capital on the side, then I can get more contracts and make a little bit more. So that's one that I got out of. It doesn't really seem like it had that impressive of a day, but at open, I had my order placed, 33-cent limit sell on that contract, and I sold both of them that I did hold. So that's nice. But yeah, I think that this could still be going higher. I could dive into the options data, but I think that would take too long and be kind of a distraction. But yeah, I guess I should mention where it closed at. Let's see, closed at $8.68, which was up by 1 penny from yesterday. So really, it is just kind of consolidating here. And one thing that does stand out to me, big widespread candle here where it's red, a lot of volume behind it. And then today where we have this doji, and actually, let's see, open and close at the exact same price at $8.68, whereas yesterday the close was at $8.67. And with that very small spread in that candle, it's a doji, open and close exact same price, the volume is much lower. So that's a good sign that there's no divergence or anything between the volume and the price action. So that, I think this still could be going higher, but for me, I don't really, I don't have a Peloton. I don't use one. I'm not excited about that stuff or that technology, that business. So it's not one that, if it goes down a lot, like let's say it came down to the 50% retracement at 779, I would not have the conviction it needed to want to hold it. And so this is one that, it was a nice swing trade, 20% move along. And that was bought yesterday, sold today. So happy about that. But then Rocket Lab. So this is one that, I think that, with any of the videos, if I'm talking about options, really, I'm just talking about the data and to try and use that to inform on a move. And so I had done that with 2 videos last week. But to be honest, I'm not that proud of those videos because I was talking about a short dated contract that expires tomorrow at a strike of 57.50. That was the first contract that I had talked about because somebody was rolling their contracts. But then they ended up rolling that into other strikes and they were just lowering the strike. So it's like, it seemed like there was going to be a bullish move like this, but it seemed like it wouldn't be as big as the person was initially anticipating. And so I got into that $57.50 strike that expires tomorrow. Bought 4 contracts at an average of 64 cents. So I was risking about $257, I think. But just before close, because it was making this big move, I ended up selling them at 8 cents each. So I basically turned $257 into like $32 over the span of a week or 2. So not the best trade, it was not a good trade, but with the strike being 57.50 and the close for today, let's see, was at 52.47 after having gone up 9.38% or $4.50, a really nice move for the stock. However, that contract specifically, even if price were to go up to 57.50 tomorrow, which is higher than where the cursor is, that strike would effectively be or that contract would effectively be expiring at 0 or maybe like 1 cent because, it represents 100 shares. And so if it's closing at 57.50 or 57.51, let's say, then, it wouldn't be closing at 64 cents. It'd be closing at 1 cent. So I'd effectively be losing all of that money anyway. So at least I walked away with $32 rather than 0. But yeah, I am glad that I did kind of recognize that options data and that I thought this move would be happening. And it looks like we're seeing it today. So yeah, congrats to those who hold Rocket Lab shares. If you hold contracts, hopefully they are further dated than mine and or with a more reasonable strike. Some of the ones that I did go over, like the $50 strike, I believe is expiring tomorrow. That, would be printing some money. So wanted to say congrats. It would be nice, though, and this will be relevant for when I talk about AMC. It would be nice to be seeing this candle closing above the high over here. So on September 23rd, the high was 54.16. We got to close at 52.47. So it needs to go up a little bit more to really show that it's like breaking this trend, because as of right now, we're seeing lower highs. And if it does close above that, that would effectively be a let's see, get above this trend line, you're breaking above it. But when you close above this high, then that's effectively like a confirmation of the breakout. And then if you were to see a retest of this downtrend, that would more likely hold as support than if the close is lower than the high over here. Because you want to see that strength that things are changing. And with that, we have seen an increase in volume here. It's stair-stepping up with this nice big candle here. So that looks good. And one of the things I do think is nice about this is the volume for today, which was 35 million shares traded. It's lower than the volume over here, which is around 38 million shares traded on September 23rd. And the reason why it's good that this volume is lower is because we closed lower. We didn't get as high as we did on the 23rd. So if this trend does continue into tomorrow with options expiring on Friday, October 3rd, maybe this could really, start to trigger the momentum and the breakout that, I was effectively talking about happening in those videos. Just taken, maybe a week longer than what I was hoping. So yeah, congrats to you guys. I wish I was holding shares. This is one like SoFi for me that I, was talking about it a lot at the bottom over here. And, I didn't hold it up here. I sold. And I was jaded at that point, I think, for both of those stocks. And yeah, super happy for those who hold it. It was really nice making those videos in the past. So yeah, congrats to you guys. And let's see, Nick is saying, dude, DVNT, know the business. I'm not sure what DVNT means, but I'll pull that up towards the end. Just going to continue on with the tickers here, and then I'll get into the chat. But yeah, again, it looks like 7 people or so are joining, so welcome all. Hopefully you're enjoying this. And if you have not, make sure that you like the stream. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe. And if you are watching this after the fact, make sure you turn on that notification bell so you can join when I am streaming. And yeah, and also I do share some posts, screenshots of ideas that might be helpful, and those are kind of at random times. If I'm at work, I can't make a video, I'll do a little post. But yeah, let's continue on with the list here. The next one is Bitcoin hit a high today of above 121,000. I'm sure if you follow Bitcoin, you knew that from people posting on X. But yeah, hit a high so far today of $121,000 and $111 and actually 0 cents as far as Coinbase goes. And so that's looking great. And what I was talking about, I believe yesterday, it had to have been yesterday during the stream that this green candle here was above the orange trend line, but needed to yet get above the red one. And it'd be great to break above that and then for that to then act as support. And if I do take a step back here, maybe I can show it on the daily. Yeah, the orange trend line intersects with the highs from 2021, but actually goes back to the high from the end of 2017. But then this red trend line is based on the tippy top of the highs from 2021 and then intersecting with the highs over here from, the beginning of 2025, the end of 2024. And, I drew that before we had hit these new all-time highs, which, whenever we break above levels, sorry about my clunky zooming in here, but whenever we break above levels, oftentimes it's, a fake out break above and then a pullback and retest. And so maybe now what we're seeing is actually the breakout that does take us higher as we are in Pumptober, however you want to say it. So, I think Bitcoin is looking really good. And one thing that I was looking at, because I do have some November $90 strike IBIT calls, hopefully I'm basically at break even now. I think I'm a little bit in the green on those. That was something suggested by Mike Alfred, and I thought I'd go along with it just because of what I had heard from him. I'm familiar with IBIT, familiar with contracts, and so I thought that I'd tag along. And my average is actually lower than his now, so I'm feeling good about it. But the thing that I was intrigued by about with the IBIT chart is right here on August 13th, that's the all-time high for the IBIT at a price of $69.89. And what we can see now is it looks like it's going to be breaking to all-time highs. And so my strike for those calls is $90. I don't know if it's going to get to $90 by November 21st, but either way, the momentum is in the right direction, and we're in October. And so I think that, I'm just really excited about this. And so it would be great to see this hitting new all-time highs. Just very excited about it in general. And since I am talking about crypto, let's also talk about ETH. We did hit a high of, above $4,500. So it looks like the high so far based on Bitstamp data is $4,529.60. And we are pulling back a little bit just below 4,500. But I talked about this yesterday, that we had the 50-day simple moving average above us. Now, the price of Ethereum is actually above that moving average. So if it did pull back, retest 4,000, 400 as support. That could be, fine. A great look for this to continue to new all-time highs, get up to 5,000 and beyond. And actually, Bronx Viking posted this. I could pull it up if you guys want me to. I'll circle back to it if you guys do. But he was posting that this looked like it was, an accumulation pattern, a Wyckoff pattern, which would be suggesting that it could be breaking out very soon and then going a lot higher. My price target based on the Crypto Corner Sat Stackers and my ETHster video was 8,000, but I think it could be going higher than that by the end of the year. So I'm just excited about this. And speaking of one that I hold that I'm excited about, let's talk about AMC. I'm just going to check the chat real quick in case I'm missing anything. So Joe Bro is saying, hey, everybody, just waiting for Chainlink to break 2339 for a great pump. Chainlink is one that I do hold. I go over it every Saturday, Crypto Corner Sat Stacker. And go over 20 different cryptos in that. And then Joe Bro is also saying, hey, what kind of IRA is best for trading? I would not know about that, so you guys should chat amongst yourselves. And I'll continue on with the AMC chart here. And for me, looking at this, I was thinking, let's say I don't know actually how to do a replay. Let's see. Use trade button to open. I don't know how to do, let's see if I can do, let's go back. So like here, I was actually, no, let's go to that. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to mess with it while I'm live on a stream, but that is kind of a cool tool that I could use if I knew how to use it. But let's see, I'm just going to close that. And so basically, if we cover up this big green candle that we saw here today on October 22nd, what I was looking at with these three candles is like, pretty big wicks to the upside there, making me feel like this might actually be pulling back to like 280. I didn't get a fill at 280 when it did dip down to that level on Friday, September 26th, hitting a low of $2.80. So I was kind of bummed about that. But then this bounce up, I was thinking that, this downtrend that I have drawn here, very close to breaking out, but not just yet. Might be pulling back, and then maybe a week or two from now, we'd actually see a move like we just saw today. But yeah, we're seeing it now, so I think that's great. Also, I think the Taylor Swift thing is coming out tomorrow, the Showgirl thing or whatever. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting. So I think things are looking good for AMC. We are now very clearly above the 50 SMA. I'm just going to remove my drawing so we can see that blue line very clearly. That is at $2.91. We closed notably above. And also, with the drawings out of the picture, where do we also close above? We're seeing something new happening. We're seeing a higher high. So over here, even with this, lower highs, wicks going higher. So the high over here on September 19th was 308. And we closed today at 315. So that's looking awesome. The high for today was 317. Not much volume behind this move, though. So that does make me a little bit concerned. But maybe this is just the signal that, hey, this is going to start moving. But maybe it's this lack of volume. Maybe we'll see a pullback. And then that will be like okay, now is the time for those who did not jump in here to load the boat. We see a spike in volume, and then this really takes off. Not saying that it's going to be a MOAS or anything like that. I have no idea. But just generally, looking at this downtrend that I have here, and also that trend line, if I do extend it over a little bit, that does kind of coincide with that 50-day SMA at, again, $2.91. So if we do pull back to sub $3, let's see if 290 holds, and then that could be the last real opportunity before it launches above 3 and stays above 3. Not saying it's going to go to 1,000 or 100 or whatever. I have no idea. But I think first stop, getting some notable closes above 3, and then after that, I think that 10 is a feasible target. in the coming months, knowing how this can move sometimes. But I think, 10 is like the first stop in a big move to the upside. But yeah, so generally just closing above this high, super great. What we want to see next is a close above the high over here. So from Monday, August 11th, that high was $3.26. So I'm just going to put a horizontal line there so we can see that. I will lock it in place so I know. So let's get a weekly close above 326. That would be excellent. And speaking of weekly closes, let's look up AMC for the max pain just to see that tomorrow the max pain is $3. As you can see right here, I'll zoom in on it so you guys can see it a little bit better. $3 max pain for October 3rd. And then next Friday, October 10th, max pain is $2.50. But with the big move today, at the end of the day, I should perhaps look at that on the shorter time frame. But maybe that's going to push these max pains up a little bit higher. So we'll have to see. I'll put out a post tomorrow when I'm at work to update you guys on the max pain there. But let's see, coming back over to the chart, I can't do 10-minute, which is what I normally look at, but if we look at the last 15 minutes, we can see that, let's just fast forward this to present day. Yeah, this was like in the last hour of trading. It looks like the last 45 minutes or so, we were around $3. And then look at this volume towards the end of the day. So that looks really good. And actually, if we were looking at the 15-minute candles, that is some pretty notable volume. That's the highest volume that we've seen on this time scale. Maybe I can do this on the hour time frame. Maybe that would be a little bit cleaner or maybe easier for you guys to see. But yeah, the volume that we saw the last hour of trading today, 1.48 million shares traded. And the last time we saw that number of shares traded on an hour time frame was back here around May 27th when price was, above $4. So I think this is looking good, but if we do look at this on the daily time frame, and then I'm just going to, let's see. Oh crap. I don't want to do that. I'm screwing this all up. Let's see. Let's zoom in on this. The volume on the daily time frames just not that impressive. And so let's see what the volume's like tomorrow. But yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited about it with AMC. So go us. And it looks like it's 5:27. So I got about 3 minutes left. Maybe I'll go a little bit longer just to pull up some of the chats. And so I might do that. I might just try to pull them up and I'll open them so you guys can see what you all are saying. And so close above 200 day moving average for AMC, first time since May. The 200-day moving average. Okay, so right now I have the 50-day moving average, and because of the volume in the RSI and my limited subscription to TradingView, I am going to have to actually adjust the 50-day SMA. So I'll do that to 200. And wow, good call. Lazy one. I like it. Yeah, this looks way better than closing above the 50-day. And the last time, as Lazy Ones mentioned, the last time we closed above this, it looks like actually we can pinpoint this on July 18th, the 200-day SMA. What was that at? It looks like we closed effectively right at it. I can't. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's see. On that day, it was 353, and we closed at 354. So actually, technically, on July 18th, we closed 1 penny above it, but really that's kind of negligible. And so over here, yeah, May 27th, we more clearly closed above that, but that was just, a pump above and then a dump below the day after. So great call. That is looking awesome. Volume interesting as well. Yes, I'm just going to pull that up. And yeah, so volume not so big, but with tomorrow being Friday, actually, let's look at some of the options data. Let's check it out. So I've got some contracts here that I'm just going to do this, pull this back to 100%. None of these contracts I want to look at specifically. I really just, yes, look at this data. This is looking good. And AMC is one that, of course, it's very retail heavy. So I always kind of take it with a grain of salt because it doesn't usually get super crazy with the premium. And actually, this looks good, but it's not millions of dollars. So I initially got more excited than I should have been. But yeah, net call premium increase was $379,222. So more than a third of $1 million. But not millions of dollars. But that's really all in the last 45 minutes of the trading. As stock price is going up, that premium, net call premium, is launching up as net put premium stays low, closing the day below $7,000 net put premium increase. So generally, this just looks good. I just like to see millions of dollars flowing into it. And maybe we'll see that tomorrow because looking at the volume, even here with the premium, I'm just going to make sure that stuff's not blocking it. Yes, you can see it with Lazy One's comment there. But this volume is all at the end of the day. Launch up and also with the stock price all at the end of the day. So let's see how that rolls into tomorrow. And then if we do, go back, let's say 3 days, this stock price and the premium does stand out. That looks bullish. Let's go back 7 days. Again, this is the highest the net call premium has been the past 7 trading days. Let's go back 14 days. And let's see. The call premium has been higher. So over here on September 19th, went up to 1.06 million. So looking very good there. And now the price is higher than that. So that's potentially, those contracts, depending on what their expiration is, they're potentially looking pretty good right now. And then if we just go back 30 days just to see, so that, maybe that was a signal there that we'd be starting to see the breakout very soon. So yeah, generally AMC is just looking awesome. So I'll just bring back the chart and let's see. I'm going to try to pull up more of the chat. It's around average, I think, for volume. Yeah, so the volume on AMC, not super impressive, but on the hourly time frame, the last hour of the day, the last time we saw premium that high was when it was over here around $4, which was May, I believe. Yeah, so let's actually just look at that real quick, just so I'm, not making stuff up. Let's see, you gotta go over here. And so, yeah, that volume, I think I said May. Yeah, that would have been over here. Yeah, the last time volume was that high on the hourly time frame was in May. So even if it doesn't look that good on the daily, it's at the end of the day with Friday tomorrow, options expiration. We could maybe see some bigger moves, especially if Max Payne's $3 and it's now above 3, although this could be setting us up for a rug pull as that has happened in the past. So do be cautious of that. Do be careful. Good to not FOMO, good to not chase. And for me, I have a buy order at 280 just for 10 shares, nothing too crazy. But what I might do is maybe at this point, I would adjust that up to 290. And just buy those 10 shares there on a retest. And if that does happen, I might actually be more aggressive than just 10 shares. And so let's see. How is the call premium looking? No problem. I did go over that. So hopefully what I discussed on that, it just being up about $380,000 today. I think it'll be very interesting to follow up on this over the weekend. So we can have a weekly close and stuff like that. So I'll probably do an AMC video this weekend. And I'm not sure I was like, I'm not always that great with acronyms. I'm like, what's WTAF? I get it now. I think that AMC is set up pretty nice. Hey, Donkey Kong, what's up? Definitely higher volume on the hourly for sure. So let's see. I mean, you guys can watch this tomorrow. I'm going to be at work during the day. I'll try to have some posts maybe on X, maybe on YouTube. It's easier for me to post on X, but I'm not always like, dialed in. And I might be busy at work tomorrow. But the volume for today was 23.1 million shares. The volume over here where we had the big spike was 56.99 million. So what we want to see tomorrow, the candles, the volume's going to grow over the course of the day. You need to have all of that daily data to fully populate that candle. So it will be interesting to see how long it takes for volume to get above 23.1 and if it can get above 56, 57 million before market close. That would be a really good look. But, this could be setting up for a rug pull before options expire tomorrow. So do be cautious of that. I think 290 would be acting as a very nice retest and support. So do consider that. And let's see. Lazy One saying, do I see a breakout on increasing volume or, and so I see a breakout on decreasing volume. So that makes me a little, I think that it could be rolling over, but this could be like, hey, we're ready to break out, but we don't have the volume. And then, so what's the volume? The volume is big money. And so this could be a signal to big money. Hey, this is ready to rock and roll, but we'll roll it back over to you so you can load your bags at 290 when everybody's fatigued by this just not being so great. Oh, Daniel, sorry I didn't get to say goodbye, but yeah, thank you for joining. I'll see you in the morning. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess I should say, because I won't be streaming in the morning. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. And Lazy One says, good stuff, and squeeze tomorrow. We'll have to see, Riley. It might, I think that if volume is coming into it, because even in the after hours, it's at 313, so it's pulled back a couple cents. Even, overnight trading, that's, it's lighter volume, so it's what we need to see is the big money, the volume coming in to push this higher. So if it doesn't squeeze, if it does squeeze, let's celebrate, cheers. But if it doesn't squeeze, if it starts to roll over, especially getting closer to close, if max pain is $3, I will do a post in the morning, updating whether or not it's $3 or if it's gone up to 350. But yeah, if that does start to roll over, 290 is what I'm thinking, right around there. Or maybe, the 50-day SMA, I might just switch back to that. We are above the 200-day, which is 313, but I'm just going to switch that back to 50. And so that 50 SMA is at 291. So anywhere from 290 to 295, that could be a really nice dip buy retest support level. And so do keep an eye on that. And then I might pull up some of the earlier chats, just to give people some spotlight since I was too focused earlier. But Taylor is, doing little hand waves, so very nice. And York had a comment about Rocket Lab. So hopefully, my perspective on that, what I pulled up over here, looking good. But yeah, let's see a close for Rocket Lab above Tuesday, September 23rd's high, which was 54.16. We get a weekly close above that. I think it's looking really good. And let's see, I'm just going to pull up Nick's chat here just to give him some spotlight. AMC, finally, it's been fun, man. Yeah, it's looking good. And then, dude, I imagine this is dude, don't know the business. Let's see. Hey, everyone. So for Chainlink, yeah, Joe Bro, I can definitely pull up Chainlink real quick. It's possible I have it in my crypto list up here, but I tend to kind of trim that during the week to, kind of my dumber coins and tokens and stuff, my more speculative ones. But yeah, let's pull up Chainlink. And I usually look at this on Coinbase data. It's going to have a bunch of stuff drawn up there, which is what I go over every Saturday for Crypto Corner Stacker. But yeah, so Chainlink, let's see. What's this downtrend that I have drawn there? That's, really just kind of approximate. But that's from the highs of May 2021, kind of intersecting with the highs from 2024 into 2025. And then, it looks over here like we've got a little bit of a bull flag and could be breaking out. This is on the daily, just making sure that's correct. But yeah, I mean, we are below the 50 SMA, which is at $23 and about 38 cents. So that might be some resistance, but I was saying that about Ethereum yesterday, and now Ethereum's above. So if we see some more pumping in crypto overnight into tomorrow, into the weekend, if Chainlink gets above 23.38, 23.40, let's just say, and gets above that, as long as it pulls back, retests, then that could start to be acting as support. I also did kind of casually draw this downtrend here, which is a little bit wonky. But yeah, I mean, there is still some resistance above. But when this does get moving, let's see, I have this orange line here kind of corresponding with the tops over here. It's around 29 to 30 bucks. And then I do have a Fibonacci extension here, which is, let's see, where's the, I drew that from the low here up to the high. So the lows of the beginning of August up to the highs here from the highs of August, and then pulling back approximately to the 382, but we actually did pull back below that. And I'm not going to adjust the drawings just because I like to limit that to Saturdays. But let's see, we actually pull back really nicely to this yellow line here I have right around 20 bucks, 1987. And yeah, so I think that, let's see, this level, that extension that I had up there, and actually we've got these bigger ones. So I'm just going to take a step back so we can see where I drew them to. I drew them to, no, not too far into the future, right here. So this is, let's see, a more macro perspective. The lows from 2022 up to the high here, the end of December in 2024, and then pulling back to, I just did it approximately with like the low prior to the high here, and that's around $33, $34. So yeah, I mean, I could see this kind of like how I have it doodled here. Wow, actually, that's, most of my doodles don't usually play out. It did go a little bit lower. It broke below that 50 SMA, but my doodle did kind of suggest this pullback. That's not a trend line, that's a doodle. And so pulling back, breaking below that, this bigger trend line here, the downtrend, and the 50 SMA. But I could see this then going up to around 30 to 35, testing that, getting rejected, pulling back to 30, finding that as support, and then going up to 50 to test the highs of 2021, and then it could go higher than that. Who knows? Yeah, and so I think that's kind of all that I wanted to go over with this, and I don't want it to go too far over the 30 minutes because I got some work I got to do outside, which is probably going to be the case up until, man, I'm trying to shrink this chat window that I have open so I can see stuff a little better. And so let's just see. Let's see, I'm not the best at doing this chat stuff, so I might just hide that for a second. And sorry, this is me fumbling with live streaming. And I guess some of the older chat's gone away, but then I'll just pull this up from, let's see, Donkey Kong is saying that AMC 10 million over the average daily volume. And so over the average, so I don't know what the average daily volume is. I would have to pull up whatever the average is. But then that would mean that the average is around 13 million because today's volume was 23.1 million. So yeah, that could be good. But like really, I feel like we need to be seeing this volume higher than these peaks that we've seen corresponding, because if volume's not able to get higher than these spikes when we got rejected, then there's not enough behind it. So being above 10 million above the average, that's great, but let's see what the volume is like tomorrow. I will do a follow-up video over the weekend, I'm sure, because I'm really interested to see what the volume and the price action's like tomorrow. But yeah, let's see tomorrow's volume be above $57 million. I think that would be a great start, or at least above 50 million. See where that takes us. But yeah, with all that being said, I'm just going to pull this up and I'm going to end the stream here. As always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell for if in case I do have some posts or, videos tend to come out at random times. And usually they're, somewhat time sensitive, but since I tend to look on the daily time frame and things play out, weeklies beyond, what I'm talking about. So, yeah, things change every day in the market. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to have a GameStop Power Packs opening video later tonight, but I got to do some work outside before the sun sets. And then tomorrow I will be streaming at 5 p.m. Eastern, going over some random tickers. I'll probably follow up on AMC there, so make sure you join for that. But yeah, have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, you guys.